Well, hello there. My name is Al, and this time I want to show you a little trick when it comes to modeling a cartoon head. And I think it's a very intuitive and a very complete way to model a character with nice edge loops and basically ready for animation, for rigging an animation and texturing and what have you. So first I'm going to start creating a camera to bring the character that I'm going to be working from. So there's a camera in Maya. I'm going to press Ctrl A on my keyboard. I'm going to go down to environment and I'm going to hit the create button. So an image plane is created right in front of the camera. I'm going to press the folder so I can get the image that I need to create my model from. I select my camera and now I want to place the image plane, or rather the frontal head, fairly in the middle of the grid, more or less in the middle, just so I can start creating objects right in the middle where I need it to be. There. Now I'm going to move the alpha gain of this image plane so it's not 100% in its opacity, but rather in the middle, such as 0.5. And I'm going to Control D so I can have two cameras. But this camera will be the one that is going to be used for the side view of my character. I'm going to go to rotate and I'm going to press 90. In this new camera that I duplicated from the first one, I'm going to go to Ctrl A, environment, click the create button, and I'm going to do the same thing I did for the first camera, which is going for the image of my character, and this image plane I'm going to place it right in the middle of the frontal head, more or less, so I can model my character having two references, the frontal view and the side view. I'm going to try to place my image plane right in the middle of the image grid, such as more or less like that. I'm going to reduce the alpha gain of this new image plane to 0.5. There. Now, I'm going to momentarily hide the I'm going to select this image plane and I'm going to hide it temporarily. Now I'm going to create a polygon primitive sphere. This polygon primitive sphere is going to be the base of the entire head. I'm going to scale it and more or less try to place it in the middle of my cartoon head. It doesn't have to be precise, it's just an approximation of sorts. Now I'm going to use what is called, I'm going to go to the rigging submenu. Under the form menu there's a tool called lattice. I'm going to open the options and I'm going to make sure that the divisions in all axes is 4. I'm going to hit create, and as you can see, a box of sorts is created around the sphere, and when I select the components of that lattice and I move it, you will see that my sphere moves or adjusts to how much I translate, rotate, or scale these points on the lattice. So now, so as you can see, I can select all of the upper points in the lattice, and using the scale tool, I'm going to start pulling away from the center in order to adjust the head to the shape of my character, such as this. This is not going to be a long tutorial, so bear with me. This is a tip that you may find interesting when it comes to modeling things in a very rapid and clean way. Let's see, select all of this and just, you know, to have my sphere matching the entire edge of this cartoon head. Now I want to deselect components and go to object mode, select my camera, my side view camera, and in the display mode is in none, and I'm gonna put it on RGBA. So now I'm going to select the frontal camera and I'm going to hide it momentarily, just so I can work with the side view of my character. So now I'm in the side view, so I'm looking at my character from the side. So just as before, I'm going to start pulling the lattice points in order to make them match to my character's side view reference. Just like that, and here just like that. Right about there. And I can also at this point start checking my orthographic views. I can go to panels, orthographic, side view, in order to make sure that the shape of the head is right where it needs to be. As you can see in my orthographic view, that's an easier method to make sure that the sphere matches the shape of the cartoon's head. I'm going to select these. This part we'll deal with later, but now the main shape of my sphere matches perfectly with my image reference. I hit Ctrl A to show my inputs. Now that I have the head right here, I'm going to hit Edit and Delete History so the lattice can go away. And now I guess I could increase the subdivisions on this sphere so we can work with this shape. I'm going to go to Modeling and then Mesh, Edit Mesh. I'm trying to find a smooth. It's right here. I'm going to smooth this thing so I can have twice the divisions that I've had. We'll press 2 so we have a little more, And now I'm going to use, you'll see, I'm going to select these points in this area. Okay, I'm going to select them from the inside to make my life easier. And I'm going to increase the soft modification tool. Hitting twice, double clicking the translate tool, I'm going to go to soft selection, and I want to increase the amount of geometry that I want to pull out from the object. As you can see, the more I increase this value, the bigger is going to move. The bigger area is going to be moved by my translation tool. So I want to set this in a way that I can pull this amount of geometry in, god damn it, I want to select this point. I want to reduce the amount of fall off radius so I can do this. You know, this is just, this geometry that I'm walking right now, by the way, is just a reference for the things I've been working with ahead. And so this is just a reference geometry that I'm walking right now. So you don't have to be so precise and so worried about precision, if you will. Now I have the basic shape of the head already done, and I'm going to, perhaps I could pull the chin a little bit more using this like that. There we go. Now we have the basic head shape from the front and the side. I'm going to select my image plane. I'm going to hide it with Ctrl H. Now we have something to work with, to start working with. And now I want to turn on my frontal view, my image plane frontal view with there. Having this base geometry, you will see what I mean when I create the real geometry that I want to create. So I have this geometry right here. Okay. Now I'm going to turn on the having this geometry selected. I'm going to select this thing right here, the magnet. And now I'm going to use a tool that is called Quad Draw. And I'm going to go to the front view, and I'm going to start clicking around the eye, and more or less like this. You don't have to create a ton of them, just enough to maintain a decent level of deformation. I can drag this with the middle mouse button, and it's also I'm placing the quadro tool with my middle mouse button, dragging them in a, to sparse them out and have them in a better place, well distributed, I mean. Now I have the base of the eye. If I turn on the number 5 on my keyboard, you will see, if I go to the perspective, that my quadro tool, it's starting to create the geometry that is going to form the character's eyes. I'm going to go back to the front view, click the number 4 on my keyboard so I can keep walking with my image reference. Now I want to start creating the shape of the head. Now perhaps I should put it right here in the middle. These 1, 2. These 1, 2. And these 1 here. Here, and here. If I keep the shift button pressed, you will see that I will be able to start creating geometry with the points I've just created. I press 5, you can see that I'm already creating what I'm going to turn off my self-selection so I can move my points freely. I'm going to place another division right here, just so I press the shift button and then click right in the middle of the face. And for the mouth, I'm going to create, I don't know, around 4 points using the quadro tool, and then perhaps another here and another here and another here for my nose. Place 1 here, and here too. I'm gonna place this here. Let's see. This is a momentary step in the process, so I'm gonna start creating the edge of my head. I'm gonna relocate this point over here, and let's do the lower part of the mouth. There you go. And then here, and then I want to, yeah, that's good. As you can see, when I press the 5 key in my keyboard, it will show me the geometry that I'm creating with my quadro tool. And more or less like that. More or less there. shift click right in the middle of the, if I press shift and I keep it pressed, you will see how my geometry is being adapted. Shift click click click, and as you can see, I'm creating a very clean geometry of this character in a very quick fashion, using the quad draw tool, which is in edit mesh, not through in mesh tools, quad draw tool. Shift click, I keep shift pressed, click click click, and as you can see, I'm almost done creating these character's head. Let's finish up the rest with the head, the rest of the head, and just clicking new points, just so you can see how quickly I'm creating this character head with a very clean topology. And if I go to panels, perspective, you will see that the geometry, it's pretty much, I'm moving this point with my middle mouse button, as I said before. This is just to prove to you how easy. I'm going to show the image planes, which are right here, so they don't I'm going to do the entire half of the head. Don't worry about how even this part is, because as you will see later, this can be quite easy to create. As you can see, this is a very intuitive process and a very fast way to create your any type of character. I mean, I'm using as an example a very simple character, but this method applies to pretty much any character. As you can see, you can relocate every point in a very quick way. I'm going to click Control Z. I want to right now, as you can see, this is a very easy way to create new geometry, and you can create any type of character in just a few minutes. You don't have to deal with many tools in the beginning. You don't have to know a lot about 3D sculpturing, 3D modeling, or what have you. And this is a way to making your life easier when you don't know too much about 3D modeling, as I said. So, as you can see, I'm almost done with this figure. I'm just gonna try to finish this as quick as possible too. to show you how easy it is to create something like this in a very intuitive way, and using a process that as I said, don't require you to know how to have a huge knowledge about this type of character creation. I can just redistribute these points, very quickly in order for me to, there you go. Middle mouse dragging these points, and as you can see, I have the entire middle head, the entirety of it, and once I'm done with this, I can just take my I have to deactivate this magnet in order to select my base mesh and get rid of this. There was something that came up on my monitor. As you can see, I have the middle of the face of my character, and right here is the mouth of my character. What I can do with it quickly is to create, using a tool that it's called multi-cut. I wanna create the opening for the mouth. More or less there, I press enter. And now I'm going to select the faces that I'm going to delete them. And then going to select this and place it better. I'm going to pull the cheeks ahead a little more. I'm going to pull this out so we can have the cheekbones, so we can have some volume in this area. Like that. And this is the area of the mouth. And what do I do if I want to create the other half of the head? Well, a quick way to do that is to Control D, so I can have a duplicate, and the duplicated head I can just mirror scale it to the other side. First of that, I need to reset the transformation values of this geometry, and that can be done very quickly on Modify, Transformation Tools. It's on phrase transformations. So translate, rotate are zeroed. I'm going to go to Edit to delete the history of my object. Control D. I'm going to scale in the opposite direction, so I would use -1 to make sure this side of the head meshes the same as the other side of the head. Then I can select both of the faces, both of the geometries. Then I want to select all of the edges in the middle, as such. Right here, I'm going to select all of these vertices, and just like that. I can do that, or I can just select the first one and with shift double click the next one so it can select all of the vertices from that side. But I have to unselect the vertices around the mouth. Pressing Control, I can drag a square in order for me to unselect these vertices right there. And now I'm going to use let me see these. They were like this, but using the scale tool, I'm going to scale all of the vertices in order for them to get closer to the center. And now that they are closer to the center, I can just select both sides of the head, go to mesh and combine them. Combined, what it does is to convert two geometries into one. So now I can go to edit and delete history, and now I can just merge or sew all of the points in between them, because they are one object now, but they are not fused together. If I pull these faces, you will see that this geometry is not fused together. So right now I'm going to select this geometry and I'm going to go to mesh, and I'm going to go to merge. What merge does is that fuses both sides of the head. What fusing, I mean that all of the edges from one side will be sewn or fused with the other one. So as you can see, now I have a real entire solid structure. That will be all for today, and in the next lesson we are going to move on with other aspects of these characters, such as creating the eyeballs and all that. But this was just to show you how to very quickly create your own 3D characters. Okay, that will be all for today. Thank you.